Hello and welcome to the Formula Classic World Championship, live here on DKM, your motorsports authority. I'm your host, Will Smith, from the Media Center here in the Hungaroring, getting ready for an exciting race start, where for the opening lap, we will be on board of championship leader Drayden Knowles. Hey guys, what's up and welcome to my onboard for the first 5 laps of the race. I hope you guys enjoy it and yeah, whatever. Taking off from the start line. Fortunately, I don't start all the way in the back. I start like right by the line, but still not at the front. We're gonna try and get to the right side of the track, but there's somebody on our inside. We slowed down a little bit too much there. Trying to be a little bit more cautious because of the rain, and try and see if he could catch this braking zone and pass a couple cars on the outside. That's pretty good there, and back into 5th position. I don't think we lost too many spots there on the start. I think we may have lost one, but we already gained it back. How to lift through here. We're right on the edge because the track is very wet, but for some reason the track seems to run a little bit more fluently. At least it doesn't feel as aggressive when you're under the rainy conditions. And then yeah, I'm gonna come up close here on Gerard Berger and see if I could kind of get a run on him. The key is to not come up too close to him inside the corners, but kind of gauge my gap, and as I'm exiting the corner, kind of close in on him to see if I could potentially make a passing run on the straightaway. Like for instance here, I'm not gonna get too close, but I'm gonna try and dissipate my momentum in the proper place. So sometimes that means like getting on the brakes for a little bit as I come to his inside, but no, the pass is not made, and that was the first lap of the race. Formula Classic is brought to you by Jump into the summer with the new kid and DK Media, with new shows like Formula Classic and Race Weekend Roundup, along with classics like the Insta Vlog and In Depth. Summer fun is DK Media. Welcome back to Formula Classic live on DKM. And so that was just a 1 lap fluke. I wasn't meant to do that for 5 laps, but I guess I'll do that for the rest of episode 3 of Formula Classic. Formula Classic episode 2 took a little while to come up because I had a lot of internet issues, so it couldn't upload, especially because it's like a 10-minute video, and I don't know if it's the file formats that I use, because when I'm done rendering a video, it's about 2.7 gigabytes for like a 10-minute video with like a lot of cuts and with the intro and all that. That takes up probably a lot of memory space. But when it goes on YouTube, it kind of compresses it down. But it's necessary to upload your videos in the highest resolution, because there's a lot of times in my early YouTube where I felt like, not like I felt like, but I used to upload on a much lower resolution just so it could upload faster, and because my computer was pretty crap. But now that I have a computer that could actually handle the processes and I could actually push it to the limit, I upload on, or I render, I upload on max all the time, but I render in the highest possible quality on 1080p, so that when it gets on YouTube it doesn't look too fuzzy. I still think my in real life videos look a little fuzzy, but I think that's because of the camera that I use on my phone, because I use my camera phone. I used to use a Galaxy S4, but then that Galaxy S4 broke, and then I use my older phone as like, I use my Galaxy S4 Active first, but the Galaxy S4 Active has a 8 megapixel camera, and the normal S4 has a 12 megapixel or 13, one of those. So the S4 looks a lot better than the S4 Active. I used the S4 Active first. The S4 Active broke. Then I bought a S4 and that broke, and then some reason I got my S4 Active to work again, so I used that for the first 2 episodes of Formula Classic. And then my S4 active broke again. Like it's a simple thing where like the screen stopped working, where you could still see everything on the screen. It looks completely normal, but the second you touch the screen, is basically unresponsive. And there's been like a couple times where this has happened, and I've just opened up the phone and I've taken off the screen connectors and reapplied them, and then it just works. But this time, I took off the screen connectors, blew them off, kind of cleaned them a little bit, even though there was no dirt on them, and put it back. And I tried that a couple of times, but it still doesn't work. So we have to alternate to a different type of intro for this episode, but I think it's going to be a good thing because now we get a little bit more diversity. Not every episode starts with me just sitting or standing in my room with a coat suit on. And I've just realized how much time passed since I started this race. I'm already on lap 4 and I'm only P4, and the guys ahead of me I'm competing for with a championship. The good thing is that Haken and my teammates right now inside the top 5, which is points. But right now, as I run in 4th position, I'm only going to score about 4 points. So I'm going to need to hustle a little bit more so I could score about 6 or 8 points. Maybe I could go for a win here if things shake up on this last lap inside this rain weather. But I've been really rusty at this because the only time I played this a lot when they announced that F1 2017 would have classic cars, and then I fell off the map a little bit. Like I only used to play it to do this series, and then I started playing Grid Autosport, which is a game made by the same developers of this game, but they don't have F1 cars. Normally I drive like Indy cars or Formula 3 cars in that game, as well as the grip patch in that game, and the way the cars handle is so different from that game. It's like the cars slide around, at least the open wheel cars slide around a lot in that game. And in this one, they seem to have a lot more grip. But the thing is, they slide around a lot more in Grid Autosport. But they don't have that much traction when you come off the corner. Like the car doesn't push off of the corner. But in here, when you apply the throttle a little bit too hard, the back end steps out a lot more. So you have to kind of adjust for that and be able to kind of get used to a car that has a lot more grip than usual. As I close in here, I don't think there's any bit possible that I'm able to catch these guys in the front of me. I think they've all well driven off. If they got side by side and they started racing each other, that would make it a lot more easier for me to close in on them. But I think this is as far as we'll get. I should have been a lot more aggressive on the start. I was kind of passive because after a long while of not being in F1 2013, I've kind of lacked a little bit of confidence, but I guess I'll take a 4th place finish and score 4 points for the championship. That's going to put me behind a little bit. So whatever track we're at next, I'm going to have to score a lot more points than I currently have today. But the thing is, when I got back to F1 2013, I was completely lost. And then I slowly got better and better. So I think the 2 practice runs that I do about 2 practice runs before each race. But the 2 practice runs were in the dry and this one was in the wet, obviously. Round 3 served to be a big one as Drayton Knowles drops out of the championship lead. Michael Schumacher's win propelled him into the number 1 spot as Nigel Mansell is 4 points behind in 2nd. There's a championship fight on our hands as we head to round 4 of the Formula Classic World Championship.